Now we want to start programming, so let's see how to write some meaningful programs. But before we do that, let's speak a little bit about the structure of the program. The program in Java has one statement or more outside the class, just like this one. And mainly those are for Java packages, like this one, or maybe we can have import statements. Okay? But most of our program mainly will be written inside the class, in here. A class consists of some variables that we can write here, like we can say int x or int c, whatever, and some functions or methods. In Java, we call functions methods. And the reason for that is that Java is fully object-oriented programming. In other languages like C++ and I believe Python too, there is a difference between function and a method. The function is written outside a class, but a method is attached to a class. In Java, we have to write all the functions inside a class. That's why they are called methods. So when we say method here, that means we mean functions. Now, this is a fundamental structure of a program, but how really we can write a program? We need to start with the basic thing, the basic unit of a program. And the basic unit of a program, or the smallest unit of a program, is called a statement. And the statement, basically, if you think about it, is a complete instruction given to a computer. Like what? Like you ask the computer, for example, to create a variable or to reserve a memory, or in some other languages, to clear this memory. You want to add two numbers. You want to have if statement or for loop. Those are not simple statements. These are more or less compound or complex statements, but they have to be complete to be executed by the program or by the computer. We are going to speak a little bit here about statements, and we are going to start with very simple statements. So we can write some statements here or here or here. Again, here, if we want to write statements, they have to be related to packages. If we want to write inside the class, those are class variables or member variables. And here, we have to write, we can write other kind of statements. So when I say here variables, member variables, or class variables, I'm speaking only about declaration. Okay, so I'm going to write most of my code here to show you some kind of statements. So the first statement we're going to talk about is called the declaration of a variable. Okay, so we can say int x, and that's it. So what's that? Basically, we are saying, or we are instructing the computer to create a variable in memory, and we give it a name x, and this variable is of type int. Now, type int means that the space we want for this variable in memory is 4 bytes. Okay, so when we say int x, just like that, we are instructing the computer to create or to reserve a piece of memory of 4 bytes for us and give it the name x. Right? This is the first type of statement. And basically, we can have different sizes by giving different data types. So double y, just like that. And this is 8 bytes in Java. So we create, or we reserve a piece of memory of 4 bytes, and we're going to give it a name y. And we can put in it some numbers, and those numbers need to be fractional. We have also float data type, and we can just say for the float data type, we can have a variable z, for example. And we have byte data type, and we can say a, and we have char b, and we have what, long c. Those are some of the basic data types, and we call them primitive data types. Int should hold integer numbers only. Double and float hold numbers that have floating points. Byte is a type of numbers that are basically integers, but they have a limit because the size of it is 1 byte. That means it cannot exceed 255. Okay, or from negative 256 to 255. That means if I want to say, for example, A assigned 270 or 280, that's wrong. Char basically also have numbers. These are encoded into characters, and those characters are basically the ASCII characters. So you can have, for example, P assigned and give it something like that, X. Okay, now we stored in B the variable X. Okay, and we have long. Long is a type of integer also, but it has more, it can take more digits. Okay, so this is the first kind of statement. It's called declaration. And then we have the assignment statement. Assignment means we want this variable to hold a value. So for example, we can say X assigned 120, right? And we can say Y assigned 320.34. Again, as I said, all the statements must end with a semicolon. Okay, and we can say Z assigned 130 dot or 0.45, but we have to end it with F, just like that, to just say that this is a float data type. And we can have, for example, byte. So we have byte A at 12. That's fine. We can have B assigned Z or X or C, anything, just like that. But it has to be enclosed in single quotes. And long C, we can have it equal to this. So this is called declaration. This is called assignment. And we can have a mix between them. We can do initialization at the time of declaration. So we can say, for example, and ABC, for example, equals or assigned 1, 2, 3, just like that. So in this kind of instruction is like a double instruction. The first one saying, please reserve a piece of memory for me that is 4 bytes, and name it ABC. And after that, put the value 123 inside it. Okay. Now we did declaration, we did assignment, and we did some kind of initialization. Declaration and initialization at the same time. Here we say initialization because this is the first time we put values inside ABC, right? Now we can put other values later, like we can say ABC 1 to 4. Okay, and we can say B is variable here equals now to Z or assigned Z. We can reassign a value, but the only thing here is that when we define this variable, it's int, so it stays int. So when we add 120 here, this is int. So when we want to add another variable X, it has to be int again, number like that. Okay, but we cannot put something with the floating point. So this is a very basic idea about statements in Java, and we will continue with other meaningful statements like function calls, but we are going to do this next in the next session.